So the notion of the dumb jock was also absolutely wrong. They didn't win because they had faster reaction time. They didn't win because they could, explosive box jumps. They won because they could process complex multivariable equations faster and then act on that information. So to go back to these action sports athletes as a case study, right? Because they've been kind of a fringe population. People don't pay much attention to them. The notion ski bum and surf bum, right, aren't exactly warm embraces, right, of people who have dedicated their lives in these domains. But they really have come up with 3 very good and transferable ways for all of us to get more flow in our life. And the 3 are deep embodiment, right? When they are doing things, they are feeling the forces of gravity. So their proprioceptive sense, like where are my limbs in space? My vestibular sense, where is my inner ear in relationship to my hips, right? Compression, weightlessness, rotation. All of these things are giving very strong sensory motor inputs into our body and brain. And as Stephen was mentioning, right, cells that fire together wire together, right? And we create richer and more robust neural networks. So they've done some fascinating studies. They did a sort of human life-size Frogger experiment with college athletes versus just frat boys and sorority girls, right? And they said, okay, who's going to do better at this life-size Frogger game? And who would you put your money on, right? Well, the athletes, and the athletes won, but not for the reasons we would think. They didn't win because they had faster reaction time. They didn't win because they could, explosive box jumps. They won because they could process complex multivariable equations faster and then act on that information. So the notion of the dumb jock was also absolutely wrong. And in comparison, right, this almost goes back to the sort of the ancient Shaolin temple, right? Mastery and control of body yielding, right, mastery and control of mind. So you go from basically going on a dial-up modem, I'm just a brain on a stick, disembodied, disconnected, only perceiving and receiving information through one data feed, into broadband or even satellite. I am now picking up all channels available to me as a sensing cognition machine. And those neural nets are now fired and wired together.